Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts, Stocks, and Crypto Weekly Watch List video. Today is Monday, January 6, 2025. It's just after 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing, watching, and supporting me all these years and this channel. I am back from my health break, ready to get back into some charts. Let's start off with the schedule for this month, and we'll jump into stock charts and crypto charts. Economic data. This week we have services PMI, job openings, non-farm employment change, unemployment claims, FOMC meeting minutes and some speeches, average hourly earnings, employment change, unemployment rate, consumer sentiment, and inflation expectations. In terms of January 2025 events, this week we have CES 2025, Consumer Electronics Show, product announcements and news. The big one everyone's talking about is NVIDIA keynote that's happening as I'm making this video. USA stock market season, corporate earnings, reports, and news is beginning week 2 to 4, going into February as well. So we have stock earnings reporting for the next 30 to 45 days when it starts. President Trump is taking office in the third week of January. I'm watching for any potential law changes and announcements. And the last week, we have FOMC meeting, Federal Reserve press conference relating to interest rates, if they're going to cut or hold. So let's go ahead and switch to the charts. Stocks, S&P 500. If you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TradingView, or YouTube, especially TradingView and Twitter, I post whenever I find some decent or good setups, especially good setups. So what I was saying last week when I posted is we needed to hold above the support level of 584, which is this yellow bar that I'm drawing right now. And we ended up double bottoming off of that. So why I was posting that is it could have turned into a head and shoulders with a bearish breakdown, but we held on to the 584 level. We had a bit of a liquidity market push down of about 0.5%, all the way down to 580, and then we rebounded. We're still in the symmetrical triangle, as you can see in the yellow lines. Now, if I turn on the EMAs, we're still in an uptrend. This is not the absolute ending of the market, especially because we have earnings coming up. We just bounced off of the orange line, which is my 100 EMA, 100 exponential moving average. We did not crash down to the red 200 EMA. That did not happen. So we started a new trend line. We bounced off that support level. The upside target is 601, 608, and 610 as well. The gap window we just created, 593 in terms of price, 586, and then 580 is the supports to the downside. So we're doing okay here in the S&P 500. Everyone's just watching earnings to see. However, on the weekly chart, if you're an investor like I am, we just want to really watch out that this is not actually turning into a fake out head and shoulders pending earnings. That's something I'm still keeping in the back of my mind. QQQ Nasdaq here on the daily. You can see QQQ lost the trend line. Actually, let me redraw this. We lost that bottom side trend line that I'm talking about right here. And we are in a short-term downtrend. We also did double bottom off the 50 EMA 511, bouncing up to the 527 area, gap up with the shooting star today. The upside resistance is 530, 540, and probably 550 long-term. Now, something to watch out for is just because we have a green day or 2 green days does not mean it's a massive uptrend. We are still needing more evidence and proof. If you're an investor, I'm still cautious right now because valuations for a lot of stocks are so high. Stocks are expensive right now. They're not cheap. So that's something I'm watching out for. We are still in the short-term downtrend, just rejecting below that 527 resistance, pending earnings. On the weekly, we had a nice hammer candle bouncing off. This light blue one is my 12 EMA on the weekly. And gonna watch to see if that's gonna turn into some kind of maybe double top or if we're gonna break out or not. So I'm watching out for that this month. Dow Jones. Dow Jones had a huge sell-off. That was just last month, 1 month ago. But we crashed down to the 100 EMA, and this does look like a double bottom attempt, bouncing off of 424. A little bit weak right now because It's so bearish, but it's turning into a little bit of a triangle right now and seeing if we can bounce out of there. Bounce out of where? Bounce out of 428.56. We need to see this action pull back. And then if we're going to go bullish, need to have some kind of uptrend continuation and reversal. So this could also, just in case earnings are bad, this could also turn to a head and shoulders. So right now I am market neutral, I would say. We're still in the long-term uptrend, but on this weekly, you could kind of see if there is going to be a head and shoulders, it might form in the next 3 months. That's what I'm being cautious about. IWM tracking the Dow Jones looks almost the same. So the analysis is very similar, except the double bottom is a little bit more clear on the IWM, the small caps ETF. Right here at 219.52, the neckline they need to break above to continue is 226.70, basically 226.70. So that's where we're flagging and going sideways right now. So we need to see some big news happening for this. But right now it hit the 26 EMA on the weekly and we just bounced off of that. So we're going to see if we get continuation to the upside or not. Okay, that's going to do it. I'm going to do it just a shorter index only video for the first video back. Let's go to crypto. Welcome everyone to the cryptocurrency segment of my video, the last half. So this is TOTAL, the crypto market cap. A lot happened in the past 3-6 months, especially past 3 months. So let me recap before we move on. So after this huge consolidation, okay, let's rewind the clock. 2022-23, we bottomed out in Bitcoin, rallied up. Bitcoin ETFs approved, huge rally to the upside. Then we had some profit taking. Long term, this looked like a cup and handle to me, which is why I re-entered the market in this zone in September, October, November 2024. Cup and handle on a daily chart. The target should be, if this is real, should go 250% to the upside long term. This could take 5 years, but we might get to a 9.55 trillion market cap. But in the medium term, I'm just using simple trend lines. And whenever it dips into that trend line, I might consider buying, because when price is so high in the air, sometimes you want to take a little break from the buying. We want to buy on the dips. So once we broke out of this trend line, and it's because people are calling it the Trump trade, right after Trump was elected in America, November 5, the day after, we saw gaps up, major gap ups in stocks and crypto and Bitcoin as well. So where are we going from now? We're just above that pivot on the daily, 3.52 trillion market cap. Next target would be 3.61, obviously 3.7, 3.8 to the upside. You can see we have a little bit of support at 3.42 and 3.33 support areas. Now, bring up the EMAs. We bounced off the 50. What did we have again? We had a double bottom, just like stocks, except crypto happened faster. It happens 3 times faster. So we have almost the head and shoulders, but then reversal into a double bottom. It turned just like NVIDIA, just like Nasdaq QQQ. So I need to see this break above 3.6, or it could just be a lower high fake out. So I need to see confirmation above 3.62. If it pulls back, that's fine too. But we have to break above 3.6 eventually. Cannot stay there too long. And then why is that important? Because we need to avoid a double top here in outer space, as I like to call it. I don't like the price to be floating up in the middle of nowhere for too long, because momentum fades and it could easily crash back down. So I need to see that really rally up. Okay, let's finally go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very similar. Let's remove all the drawings. Now, let's get the indicators back on. Bitcoin. Next target would be 110. Okay, 110,000, 120,000. 150,000 using pivots. I'm on a weekly chart right now. You can also see the cup and handle pattern. So if this is true on a weekly chart, Bitcoin should go 328% if it's perfect textbook play, perfect pattern, which should take us to 300,000. It could take us 2, 5, 7 years to get there, but eventually we might get there because we're in a weekly uptrend. High, low, high, low, high. What I was saying in my Twitter TradingView post is that it's looking for wherever the next higher high and higher low is. We did find that next relative higher low just above 93. What I was saying in my idea was we need to hold above 92,000, exactly what we did, and then we bounced off of that. So we're going to see right now if we're going to get continuation to finally penetrate and break through the $110,000 resistance barrier to the upside and see if we can hit 120,000 in the next 3 months. I like the weekly momentum is still okay. If you know this setup, we should get another extension in the price and then we'll get bearish divergence on the weekly. So I'm not too nervous yet. The day traders are taking their profit. Now on the daily, it's a slightly different story, right? On the hourly, if you're a swing trader, you're seeing a little bit of bearish divergence, a little bearish momentum, especially on this 4 hour. We could pull back down to retest the 100K, 100,000. Right? High, low, high, low, high, low, high, higher, low, 100,000, and then blast off to 110, 115, 120. So that's something I'm watching out for Bitcoin right now. I'm not scared of this. One doji doesn't scare me. If you have multiple wicks to the upside, and then you have a shooting star and it's outside the Bollinger Band, that's something to be very scared about, right? This is where you get massive selling in the market. Just a little notification there if somebody's wondering, how do we know? Are we too extended or not? If you use Bollinger Bands, not really. I mean, you're relatively extended, but it's not extreme. I would say we're going to sell off a little more if this penetrated to 104 and rejected down from the daily pivot, but it's an intraday day trading pullback. All right, let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum is very similar. Ethereum, we bounced off of the 3290 with this triangle and then the breakout, or you could just say double bottom as well, which happened to be the 100 EMA, and we broke above the pivot. So we could pull back down to the pivot, which is 3540, pull back here, and then try to get another higher high, retarget 39, and then eventually 4,000. So let's see. Sometimes we pull back all the way down to the 200 EMA. I was hoping for that, but it didn't quite get there. Hit 3,100, which is close enough. And then we're up, trying to rally. So remember that one of the last posts that I made was Ethereum potential upside down head and shoulders, and voila, what happened? We had a rally. Also, I called Google, right? That's potential. Same thing happened, but Google was very more news-based. Maybe I'll do that at the end. So that's why sometimes I just wait for a setup. If I have one candle, that's not a setup. That's not a setup. I need to see support. I need to see a clear breakout, and then you could actually do something. If you missed all of this, you just joined my channel yesterday, we're waiting for a pullback. Wait for a dip, wait for a dip down, line touch, like I like to call it to my colleagues, moving average touch, and let it go. Right? We buy somewhere here like 32.55, put a decent stop loss on that. Sometimes swing traders use 6-7%. Target 14%. That's why people are selling right now, and sell the rest at 28% if you're a swing trader. That's normal swing trading. So the resistance to the upside, 4,000, 3,300, and 3,000 support. We had that pivot right at 31.75. So that's what I'm watching for. Remember, this is a golden cross. Okay, 50 EMA crosses above the 200 EMA. That is generally bullish. Okay, so that's why we're not going to get too scared of this dipping down here, because that's actually a strategy. So let's go to Solana. Actually, XRP is next, but from habit, let's go to Solana. Solana, we're still in the golden up cross. Solana was so choppy, it was so consolidating for 6 to 9 months. But if you rewind, it's actually kind of funny because every support was basically a dip buying opportunity for Solana, even though it was maximum price at that time in history for 2024, right? So sometimes the consolidation plays just work. I re-entered the market in this zone, right? Because I started seeing, wait a second, Ethereum upside down, head and shoulders, Solana upside down, head and shoulders. If we miss the head and shoulders, inverted, then it started uptrending, dip buying when it hits the EMA. And when you're way up in the sky, maybe take some profit. And then when it dips down, you want to maybe buy some again. I'm talking about myself. This is not financial advice. Just one way to play the market. There's a lot of strategies, but from practice and research, that's pretty much the main one in terms of if it's dipping a lot, right? If it just went up, how many percent? It just went up 75%. If it comes down 30%, that's a 50% retrace. 50% 618, perfect. 618 play right off the 200 EMA. And then what's that bounce? That bounce was 25%. So that's why some swing traders are taking their profit right now. Immediate support at 207, seeing if we get 222 resistance up to 233 area. If we get a little pullback, I'm not going to be scared about that. Low, high, low, high, low, higher, low, higher, high. This is the reversal. So we need the higher low somewhere, wherever that's going to be. This is normal. Even if it pulls back really deep, we could get a double bottom. So I'm not super scared about this right now. It's a weekly bounce in progress right now, back testing that support level. The pivot, you can see it being white, now yellow, 179.42. All right, let's go to XRP, USDT. XRP, the darling crypto of the past 4 to 6 months, 3 months. It was a glorious rally. Glorious. XRP. Sometimes this is what I mean when I say that news can override. Events and news can override the technical charts. Because if you look at XRP on this chart, it's not the greatest chart setup. But if you know your history of XRP, there has been a lot of developments in terms of the lawsuit being completed and overturned, and Ripple making their own stable coin, and Ripple itself, trying to make headways in terms of popularity and use case. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you know your price history, long time ago, it's before 2019, Ripple hit $1 a long time ago. So crashing all the way down to 10 cents in the pandemic, and then before we rally in Bitcoin, 33 cents. It was just consolidating for the longest time. So Ripple bulls, Ripple investors finally got their payday when we had an upside down head and shoulders and a symmetrical triangle breakout, retest, plus President Trump trade, and then the law changed for their lawsuit, and then it just exploded to the upside. So shorts got totally destroyed on this one, and it went 300%. It was a glorious rally. Now, when it goes this high, I am cautious mode, because when it's monthly, you can see high, low. This is the higher high right now. Last month, we had a shooting star. I don't know if you might not be able to see it, but we had a shooting star last year, and we have some continuation this month. So just use our pivots. The next pivot point, 290, 316. That's my resistance to the top side. Big support, 185 to the downside. You could see it if we open up a 4 hour. It's really just consolidating between those two levels. And if I draw another trend line, XRP escaped a descending triangle. And so it's really just bouncing and then pulling back to the 230 level. So the big line obviously is $2 psychological, 230, that it needs to pull back and avoid that, right? We could pull back down to $2 again, but we need to have a stronger rally than this. XRP is running on fumes right now, just in the short term, right? We touched that 200 EMA on the 4 hour, great. But we need more events and more buyers and more news, or else this could just consolidate for a while. Okay, let's do one more. I'm in the 20-minute mark. Okay, I will end with Google because I was talking about that. So Google. This was my idea, one of my last ideas on TradingView before I take a break, on Twitter. And you could see it. I wrote, we have a potential upside down head and shoulders on Google. And then what happens, right? What happened here? We had an initial rally of 12%. So there's the first profit target. The initial upside down head and shoulders was supposed to go 12%. And from the breakout, it went exactly plus the almost 12%. Then we had some bad news. The US government sued Google around this area and said they had to sell Google Chrome because of monopoly. So then we crashed back down. But it wasn't over. It's not over because we hit the neckline zone, which was a liquidity test, back test of support, 167. And then what happened? The reversal. We had quantum computer chip, Willow chip news coming out of Google, which completely ignited the quantum rally in December, which was absolutely mental rally. Just absolutely crazy rally. Hundreds to thousands of percent. But I'm not going to show it yet on screen because it's going to cause massive FOMO. It's up a lot. Maybe I'll do it in the next video or just a little bit. I'll do one at the end of this video. I don't want to cause too much FOMO. So we had high, low, higher, high, double bottom off of this. Google trying to break out above 200. Next target is 205, 188 support. And you can see we're in that middle neckline of 197. But we're pending earnings right now. It's a little bit choppy here. High, low, high, low, high, low. I would have liked it to really touch that pivot and pierce the pivot, 188, but it already did that in the past. So those are the targets. That's what's happening with Google right now. Because again, it's Google, right? The number one, or YouTube and Google is the number 1 and 2 search engines in the world, apparently. So when it dips down like that, unless they committed fraud or something like that, it's a dip buying opportunity in my book. That's why I'm saying, unless they lost the lawsuit, 100%. All right, let's do a little bit of quantum. Let's do Rigetti. Okay, Rigetti computing. So there's multiple quantum stocks that just went absolutely crazy. Rigetti computing, RGTI. There was D-Wave, QBTS, D-Wave Quantum, QUBT for a little bit as well, quantum computing, Ionic, Inc., IONQ, AirQQ as well, Arcade Quantum. And then some of the AIs like SoundHound. SoundHound went absolutely mental. And even BBAI went crazy there. And so, those like 5 or 6 quantums. And I believe they are the future. They're just very relatively expensive right now, right? So the thing is sometimes it's just a matter of getting the information fast enough because, consumers do not have any access to quantum computers, to my knowledge. Like we can't go buy a quantum computer at the store. This all, on the business and research side. But I believe in quantum computing. It's just a matter of how high is this price going to go in the short term, right? Because we do have a golden cross on RGTI on the daily chart, yellow above the red. The weekly, though, is starting to lose a little bit of momentum. We went to, this is the all-time high price, still only $19, $20, right? But in terms of hitting that pivot point, there's plenty of pivots more to hit, but the white pivot point is 1175, 1648, and $21. It's just bulls are getting tired, right? It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, almost 2 months now, basically 2 months since the start, 3 months since the start of a rally. So I wouldn't mind seeing a pullback. It's a combination of short squeeze and massive bulls buying, but they're actually investing this time. We're not just trading, we're investing in quantum. So I would like to see this continue rallying, but I want to see a little bit of a pullback though, because it's never good for price to just fly into the sky too much. We got that on the Thursday after the FOMC. We got that huge pullback day, which was absolutely destroyed quantums for that one day only, and then the dip buyers came back. So that's why I'm looking at waiting for the next dip buying opportunity. And I'm not going to get scared of this unless we have a massive breakdown out of this trend, right? We're still in the uptrend. Almost every single dip has held for now. It's not true. It's not going to hold in the future, but 4 hours still in the up cross. Dip 1, I'm going to call it dip 2, 3, 4, big dip 5, big, largest dip 6, small dip 7, and then I'm expecting another one 8. So the only two ways that I play this, it's so high. It's probably not supposed to be this high right now, but $20 is that line in the sand for me on resistance on the top side. So if we break above that, the support to the downside, 1733, 1512, use pivots to get a clearer sense. Fibonacci sometimes doesn't work because you run out of Fibonacci extensions. You could do this. I could do this, but then you run out, so you have to adjust it. So I just use pivots sometimes and trend lines. So this is what I'm watching. And whenever we get a large dip, I want to buy some more here. Right? On a weekly, it looks like it's never went down. So on daily, you get 1 or 2 days, but then a couple days later, it rallies again. So I'm really targeting maybe like 15 if this thing pulls back to like 1233, but hopefully it doesn't do that in 2 days. All right. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, go ahead and click like, subscribe, leave a comment or a request for next week's chart. And remember, the stock market is closed on January 9th. It's a special national day of mourning. So that day, the stock market is going to be closed. And I'm planning to do my live streams on Monday nights, USA time. I'm going to try that schedule for a little bit. So I'll see you next Monday. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like to learn this video, go and click subscribe on YouTube or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or TradingView. And Happy New Year. See you in the next video.